Hiya, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Yo, guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan.
Hey, guys, this is John Karabi.
Hey, guys, it's Leva Leone.
What's up, guys? Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
What's up, everybody? It's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey, this is Cody Howell.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TbT and Ace.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode. How are you? We are once again back this week. As you know, I am TBT. The guy over there is Ace, and we are thrilled to be joined this week by legendary rock icon and founding member of the iconic band Survivor, Jim Peterik. Now, Jim is a rock and roll genius, known the world over as one of the most prolific songwriters of his generation, having co-written songs for bands such as 38 Special, Sammy Hagar, Cheap Trick, the Doobie Brothers, and many, many more. Fresh off the release of the new album from Jim Peterik and World Stage entitled Roots and Shoots Volume 1, we are humbled and excited to welcome to the show Grammy Award-winning rock and roll phenom, Jim Peterik. Jim, welcome.
Phenom, I like that. I've never been called a phenom.
Well, good, we got you first.
A lot of things, but not a phenom. You know that great intro that you had that I was listening to, and all these people chiming in. One stuck out because this guitar is due to Mark McKay. So you've talked to Mark.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, Mark's been on the show.
Yeah.
We're actually looking to go see him here in a few weeks. He's here in Nashville, Indiana.
Nashville, Indiana. Really? There's a Nashville, Indiana?
Yeah, Brown County is the county in Indiana, and they've got a music center up there. And I hear they're looking for you to play too.
Well, I'm looking for them. Yeah, I love that. But Mark McKay's he's a gem, and you know, when I played with him down in New Orleans, you know, we bonded. I mean, Larry was there. He goes on the piano, and without really announcing it or telling me he did, That's Why God Made the Radio, that Larry and I wrote with Brian Wilson and Joe Thomas. Nobody attempts that song, not even me. And Mark played it flawlessly. And he lent me this guitar, one like it. It was a Taylor Builder series. And he said, "You want one? You want me to get you, the family deal?" Yeah, I go, "Hell yeah!" And here it is. So that's to you, Mark McKay. Love you, man.
Yeah, we'll have to let him know. I'm sure he'll be glad to listen, and he'll love that story. So that's outstanding. First and foremost, we want to thank you absolutely for joining us tonight. It's a big thrill on our part. We've been fans of yours and your bands for forever, and you know, as we start doing research for our guests, that way we don't miss anything, you come to realize that when you think you know somebody, you don't. And the collaborations that you have done over the span of your career are mind-blowing. That is why you get the label of icon, phenom, all of that, because it's well-deserved for everything that you've done.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and thanks for having me on the show. This is really great. You guys know what you're talking about. But I don't know if you mentioned the Ides of March in that amazing compendium of groups that I've worked with. I've been with the Ides now. We're celebrating 60 years together as a band.
Yeah, next
on
month.
March 15th. And it's at the Norris Cultural Arts Center in St. Charles. And we have a symphony on stage with us, and it's going to be pretty incredible. So we're gonna record it, and we're gonna, let you hear some of that night.
Right. So it's going to be done the right way with a big symphony orchestra, because there's a lot of brass in, especially the older, I say older, but the older Ides of March stuff, like Vehicle, of course, had that big brass sound.
Yeah.
Was that kind of a Chicago sound? Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Like a Chicago sound that way.
Yeah, well, we've had the brass since like '67, and then when Blood, Sweat, and Tears with Al Cooper came out, they kind of raised the bar on the whole thing, and we added another brass, and we've had 3 brass since '68, and it's part of our sound. And Vehicle, of course, was the signature song. It came out in '70, went to #1 on Cashbox and Billboard. And I'll just give you a couple bars of this one because I love this song so much. So picture the horns, and they would be going ba-da-ba-ba-da-do. Hey, well, I'm the friend, the stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? I got pictures. Candy, I'm a lovable man. Take it to the nearest stop. I'm your vehicle, baby. Take it anywhere you want to go. I'm your vehicle, woman. By now, I'm sure you know that I love you. I need you. I want you. Got to have your child. Great God in heaven, I love you. Ba-da-ba-ba-da.
Yes. Yeah. Now, one thing that I know a lot of people probably don't realize is that there's a damn good story behind that song.
Yeah, you really can't make up those stories. You can, but I didn't. So I met this gal in line to see the Turtles back in 1968. Turtles were my favorite band at the time, and they still are one of my favorites. So I went early, in my blue pea coat, and I'm standing in line, right near the front of the line, and these 4 gorgeous girls come up behind me, right? And I'm looking at all of them, but there's one girl that really caught my eye. And I said to myself, she's too cute, she'll never talk to me, And she turns right around and says, "Aren't you Peterik?" I go, "There is a God." And she said, "I just saw the Ides of March at Morton West. You opened up for the new County 6. You guys were great." And oh my God, we sat together watching the Turtles, happy together. She takes her orange culottes leg and puts it on top of mine. And her girlfriend, Jan Tersley, goes, "Karen, what are you doing?" And she goes, "It's okay. I trust him. I trust him." Okay, I'm in. But anyway, it was a great love story, and we broke up for a while, and then, she starts calling me for rides, and that's, after about 3 weeks of giving her rides to Patricia Stevens Modeling School, I'm going, all I am is like your limousine service, baby. Wait a minute. All I am is your vehicle, baby. And we get together at Larry's house, and, we arrange the song, and we're like, holy, I can say shit on this show, right? Oh, holy shit. And we knew we kind of caught lightning in a bottle and went all the way to #1. And guess who starts calling me for dates? Maybe I was a little bit hasty, says this gal. And I let her hang on that phone for 3 seconds. I go, let's try it again. And the culmination of that story, we sat at Happiness Is Ice Cream, getting high on hot fudge and vanilla ice cream, and she goes, well, no, I said, maybe we could get engaged. And she said, yeah. And we started making wedding plans, and I'll tell you what, 52 years later, we're still husband and wife and still happy together. And boy, that's corny, but it's true.
Hell yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
I know, she's really great. So yeah, I'm your Uber, baby. That's the new version.
And I'm sure she's been the inspiration for more than just that song. I think I've read that. that you talked about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How can I convince you what you see is real?
That's what I think.
Who am I to blame you for doubting what you feel? There were so many that she inspired,
And that just happens to be one of my favorites right there.
Oh my God. Thank you. I love that song. Of all the songs I probably ever wrote, that's in the top 3.
Well, and you had the right singer for it too at the time, because that's when Jim was in the band. And
Jimmy, yeah, you're cutting in and out, but I think what you're going for, Jimmy Jameson is not by far, but the greatest singer I've ever worked with, and I've worked with some greats, 38 Special and Sammy Hagar and all these great vocalists that have inspired so much. But when Jimmy came to audition, we were rehearsing in this shitty, I can say that on the show, carpet warehouse, and our eyes are all tearing from the rubber backing of all the carpets. We had a crappy PA, and he gets up there, and we taught him a new song called Broken Promises that Frankie and I had just written. And he gets up there and makes that PA sound like $1 million. Whoa, broken promises. And we look at each other and go, oh my God, this is the guy, and he was.
Well, and not only that one, you also worked out, what was the other song you worked out where he struggled with the note, where he cracked it a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
And you were going to lower it. You were going to lower the key a little bit.
Oh, yeah, the search is over, and now I look into your eyes, and he breaks, and I go, Frankie, we better lower it a half step, and he goes, oh man, give half a man a chance. I love that line. We were all laughing our ass off.
Right. So right away you knew that he was the guy, right? How many people had you tried out prior to that? I know Kevin Chalfant was one. But was anyone else notable other than that?
No, Kevin was real close. It was 2 days before Jimmy came in, and almost gave him the nod. And he's a great singer, and I'm dear friends with Kevin. And but I'll tell you, when we heard Jimmy sing, there was such a power there, and he had this seamless range where you never know that he's going to falsetto. It's just one big voice.
Yeah, it's seamless.
It is seamless. Yeah.
Kevin Chalfant, I think, is someone that's almost been in a lot of bands. I think he was almost in Journey before Steve Perry. I believe he was one of
I don't think before Steve Perry, but yeah, in the interim there, he had a few members, Jonathan Kane and stuff, and they had a band for a while. But Kevin is just a great singer, and that's all I can say. He's never been as famous as he really deserves to be.
No, he's excellent, and the stuff he did with the Storm and Greg Raleigh.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, great.
A great song. In the right when grunge was taking over in the early, I've Got a Lot to Learn About Love is the last AOR song before grunge took over, and then bam, gone.
Yeah, I never thought there would be a day where there wasn't really an option for people like me that liked melodic rock. But by 92, 93, a lot of that stuff was disappearing, or all of my bands that I liked were changing how they sounded, and what they were trying to do. Now, Survivor didn't have to worry about that because you guys kind of put on hiatus about, 88?
Our last, full-blown album before, the greatest hits and extra cuts was 88. So we kind of escaped that, and then I started working again, thank God, with Jimmy Jameson, and we did a lot of work together. What kind of moments? Crossroads Moment.
Crossroads.
Yeah, really, really a fine album. And he was right in that room over there working with Larry and I. And, he would do a great take. And I would go, that's it. And he goes, oh, man, give Half a Man a chance. Come one more time. It was great. And he always did it better.
Right. It sounds like he was really easy to work with, too, Jimmy Jamison. Real easy to work with.
Oh, very. I mean, he's really funny. He would always go like, we'd be making a video, and we'd have the set, and, it's probably for Search Is Over and something, or I Can't Hold Back or something. And he'd be sweating. He goes, man, this movie starring is hard. That is so Memphis. I love it.
And it's interesting to me too because you have the dichotomy of Dave Bickler in the band and the presence that he had, but it feels more rock star with Jimmy. He had the look. I was just talking to TBT earlier today, like about his hair. Like, there's no reason for a man to look that good, And he had the voice and the presence. Like, how did you know? I mean, how did you fall into such a lucky thing where you have the total package right there to replace an already iconic singer?
Yeah, that is like an amazing miracle to me. The funny thing is, he never really realized how good he was, and sometimes you say, man, Jim, all I want to be is a big fat farmer. He was born with the high cheekbones and the great voice, but a lot of times he got tired of that image and just wanted to relax and be a farmer. I'll never forget that. It's so funny. But I loved when he came to Chicago, and Karen and I got to wine him and dine him, and we had such a good time.
Was that before he passed, or at what time was that?
No, I mean, it wasn't after he passed. No, we would go out.
Of course I would have that.
Yeah, no, he, this was, from 2007 till the day he passed away. We were working away. We still have unreleased stuff that I think is going to be released by a small label, and everything's good. I mean, when he opened his mouth, it was magic.
That would be amazing to have, is to have some recordings that were lost. You mentioned in your book, Through the Eye of the Tiger, that there was some stuff from, I think, Vital Signs that got left off that was really, really good.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know where you stand on being able to access that stuff, but would you ever be able to see any of these things besides what you just mentioned?
I think it's possible, so hold on to your hats.
That's excellent. Now, when you guys decided to get him and say, okay, he's going to be the one, did it take very much convincing on your part for him, or did he just say, yep, okay, I'll do it, thanks?
Pretty much, he had just left Cobra.
Right.
And he was at loose ends, really. He had big success with Cobra, and what's the group before it?
Target.
Target. And he was ready, and ready to do something. We caught him just at the right time as Cobra was breaking up, and we got real lucky. And he said, right away. He said, when do I start? I said, right now. And yesterday, not the funny thing, but the ironic thing is the first thing that we recorded together, Ron Nevison came into town, and it's probably the only song I can ever remember with Survivor that I didn't write or co-write. And it was called The Moment of Truth, which was Bill Conti and I think another songwriter. And we never do, that. But the bait was, if we do this Moment of Truth, it'll be the end title for The Karate Kid, the first one. And Ron Everson came out and we recorded it with Jimmy. That was the first thing when I heard him behind that mic. I'm going, oh, he's even better than I thought. So that was the first thing you ever heard with Jimmy, is that song.
Wow.
And yeah, a lot of people don't realize that.
And you transitioned from, of course, Caught in the Game, last record with Bickler, into Vital Signs. And I think there was some signs of this on that record, which is actually, Caught in the Game is not a bad record at all. It didn't get a lot of help, but it wasn't a bad record. But the music, it seems like it took a shift on Vital Signs. I don't know if you got better at lyric writing, or I don't know if Nevison, when Ron Nevison came in to produce, was he that big of a role in how the sound was, or was your partner Frankie Sullivan part of that, or how did you get the sound to where it sounded, just different, like a new band?
Well, everybody contributed, of course, to the new sound. Dave was a great singer. And, of course, the biggest song that I'll probably ever have in my career, he sang, Eye of the Tiger. And he just killed it. It was just amazing. And still, you hear that song on the radio, and you hear that signature Bickler sound. But I'm a songwriter that writes to the voice. And when I heard Jimmy Jamison's ringing tone, it opened up a whole new vein of possibilities in my songwriting. And suddenly, things were leaping out of me like The Search Is Over and I Can't Hold Back, because he inspired that. I mean, Dave was great. He was a very great singer. And, the prototype for all the power ballads was I Never Stopped Loving You, which was the last and the Caught in the Game album, which is the prototype for The Search Is Over and all the power ballads in every album that we had.
Well, now that you're mentioning power ballads, I have to tell you that Ever Since the World Began is one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, man. Man after my own heart. I got to do a few bars of that one just for use.
Excellent.
As we say in Chicago. And I got to get a good key. And we're just another piece of the puzzle. Oh, that's another piece of the puzzle. Okay. Just another piece of the puzzle. Just another part of the plan. How one love touches the other is so hard to understand. Still we walk this road together. We'll try and go as far as we can. And we have waited in this moment in time. Ever since, I'll get that. Ever since the world began. Thanks a lot for asking.
It's not every day that every person gets to say they were just serenaded by Jim Peterik.
Man, I wish he was a little better, but I tried my best. I wrote it on piano.
Fantastic.
So, all right.
That song, I mean, the killer piano on the tune. I mean, it's like it's almost like it's a new version power ballad for when power ballads started to become the big thing. So,
yeah, well, thank you. It's one of my very favorite songs that I've ever written. So,
well, and if you go into just ballads that you've written with Survivor, that first run, the Bickler run. There's a lot of cool songs in there. I love Santana Wins. I love I'm Not That Man Anymore.
Oh, man.
I thought to myself, what if Jimmy had sang that? How that would be.
I know. Dave nailed it, yeah. I love that song that you just mentioned because nobody remembers that song except you so far, and you.
I'll tell you another one. Obscure track that's one of my favorites. Silver Girl.
Oh my God! I just thought of that song. Oh man, that's really good. Silver Girl, let me on the water. Wow, that's a good one, man.
My heart away with just one more kiss.
Boy, yeah, lay with me, stay with me, for just one golden moment, my silver girl. Yeah, I like that one.
And lyrically, not only is it wonderful, but sonically, the production on that is so good. The harmonies just blow your ears out.
Oh yeah,
and the Sullivan solo.
Yeah,
that's a song by itself.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's very soon after we got, Mark Jubé on drums and Stephen Ellis on bass. We had Gary Smith and Dennis Johnson. They were the original rhythm section. And I knew that wasn't the sound that we were after. And Frankie and I flew to L.A. to audition musicians. And on the same day, Mark Jubé auditioned with Stephen Ellis. And there it was. There was the sound, the new sound of Survivor.
So they as well could help contribute into that transitional phase from, Caught in the Game to Vital Signs. It wasn't just, it was a factor of many things. You have a new singer, you have a new producer. Well, not a new producer, but Ron Neverson's back. And now you've got this rhythm section that's, seasoned after an album or so that, are helping out.
Yeah, that was good. Actually, the only album that Gary and Dennis was on was the first one where it looks like Kim Basinger on the cover. It's not, but it looks like her. I still think it is. But that was a good album, and we're standing on the back and in front of a flaming fuselage of an airplane, and it was pretty cool. But, it's one of those things where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and Ron Neveson wasn't allowed to mix it. John Kaladner fired him. So I went up to Canada, and I mixed it with Bruce Fairbairn. And, of course, he was amazing, and, he did Aerosmith and everything. And then he passed away just about a year after I worked with him. It was just, wow, what happened? I think it was a heart attack. But anyway, I went up there to mix it, and I always think that Ron, if John Kaladner didn't fire him, he would have done just a stellar job, but it didn't happen.
No, but at least you got him back for that big, important record, Vital Signs, because that really, it didn't put you on the map, but it took you to another level, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely another state, But, yeah, I mean, we were very lucky that he came back, and he never harbored any ill feelings that we had him fired. He knew that it wasn't us. And he came back and started working with us, and the magic was back. Ron was so intuitive. He'd say, is he a songwriter? No, but I'd be sitting writing a song at the piano in the studio, and he said, well, see that C chord and see that B flat chord, now reverse them. I said, Ron, it's not going to work. And he goes, try it. Oh, it worked. And he'd walk away and go, no charge. I'll never forget it. That's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah, and he was also instrumental in how you presented I Can't Hold Back. That lyric, I can feel you tremble when we touch. That's a great lyric, and he's telling you you're not using it enough.
Yeah, man, we just, boy, you know the stories as well as I do, maybe better, but it's true. He said that part is the hook. You got to keep repeating it, and I'm looking at Frankie, okay. And we wrote it, and Frankie's at the guitar. We're packing up the gear, or the crew is, and he's doing that lick. I can't do it up because I don't play that part, but I knew it was amazing, and I just got behind the piano and I started chording, and Ron comes in, roadies are packing up. He goes, what's that? I said, oh, something new Frankie and I are working on. He said, finish it. We're going to record it tomorrow. Everybody starts putting the equipment back on the floor. And it was just an amazing moment. Ron knew a great song, and he's still around, and he's still great.
Well, to me, it would have to be a bit of a goosebump moment for you because you state in your book that you're sitting there with Frankie and you're doing like a back and forth lyric. You're just like, there's a story in my eye, and he's turned the pages of his diary, and you're just how in the world
my God,
do you have that kind of connection with someone that you have so much trouble with otherwise?
Well, that's part of the charm of it, really. I was always trying. He was the guy I was most trying to impress because he was the hardest guy to get through to. But when we were writing a song, man, he became the nicest guy in the world, and it all worked.
Yeah, it's like he knew where his bread was buttered, but otherwise he wanted to be in charge of the band.
Well, there's a lot of stories there, but it was quite a dichotomy, But it kind of takes, fire makes steel, to quote a song that he and I wrote. Sometimes it takes that friction to create the sparks.
Right, and you see now with perspective, I'm sure, but you probably, maybe you didn't see it then. Maybe you're just like, man, why can't you lighten up? I don't know.
No, I saw it, but I knew there was something there that, completed the picture for Survivor.
I'm going to switch gears just a second because I know we're not going to keep you all night, even though we could go for hours and hours. But I want to switch a couple gears here. One of which is just a little bit of trivia that I know that I don't see mentioned in a lot of places, whether it be interviews you've done or radio or anything like that. But a lot of our listeners, they're a lot into rock and roll, 80s, 90s rock and all that. And one of the things that I think is interesting is that you helped co-write Heavy Metal with Sammy Hagar, one of the most badass songs out there. And you're right smack dab in the middle of it.
Right.
Oh, man. That's a great story because, sometimes writing with another artist is like a blind date. And John Kalodner, he said, Jimmy, I want you to write with Sammy Hagar. And this is before he was Sammy Hagar. He was Montrose, and I knew he was a great singer. But I didn't know much about him. And I fly to San Francisco, and this is when you could pick someone up at the curb. And he flies up in his red Ferrari and his hair blowing. He said, Jimbo, sit down, Sammy. I said, I know who you are. And, man, we went to, first of all, we stopped at this coffee shop, and he ground up this atomic coffee, which we drank the rest of the afternoon. And we go to his place in Mill Valley, overlooking the whispering redwood trees. It was so gorgeous. And we couldn't help but get inspired. And he says, well, my manager, Eddie Leffler, we used to call him Fast Eddie, he said there's a movie, it's kind of a erotic animation called Heavy Metal. They're looking for a title song. Boom. And then we knew what our goal was, And me and Sammy, we caught lightning because we needed that goal, And I was sitting with my guitar, he's sitting with his. We're in his basement, lower level. And he had a little cassette, multi-track cassette, but we weren't recording yet. And I remember we were just jamming, and I think I started you with I did the drop D cut thing. Yeah, we got something, and I just started, hell, man, headbangers in leather. And he goes, sparks flying in the dead of the night. It all comes together. And we just kept flowing, and finally we get to that chorus about an hour later and a few cups of coffee, and it's like, one way ticket to midnight, call it heavy metal, I'm feeling just right, call it heavy metal, desperation of the red line, call it heavy metal, holy shit, yeah. And we put it down on a cassette, and we sent it to Fast Eddie, and he goes, man, you knocked it out of the park. And he sent it to the movie company, and they said, we got a title song. And it was magic, really.
Absolutely. Now, we would be remiss if we didn't mention, obviously, Eye of the Tiger. This ended up giving you an Academy Award nomination, gave you a Grammy Award, a Billboard #1, certified double platinum in record sales, triple platinum in downloads. I think it's number 5 in Billboard's Top 100 of the songs of the 80s. I mean, it's also in a movie. I mean, holy shit, what a song.
You didn't mention a People's Choice Award.
Oh, yep, you're right.
I'll never forget that because we got this beautiful flame glass statue, and we're going out, and we're like, yeah, and Dave Bickler put it on top of the car without knowing it. We took off, and that statue fell off and crashed in a million pieces. Oh, man. All I got is a memory, but I got a plaque. But, man, that flame was really cool.
Was.
Shit happens, yeah.
How does it make you feel that song is so iconic after all this time?
Well, it's not like you can't plan that. You know, just like with Eye of the Tiger, I remember before my dad passed away, we had written 2 songs for that movie. One was this thing called Eye of the Tiger, and the other one was called Ever Since the World Began, which you know. And that's the one I played for my dad before he passed away. And I always regret, you know, of course I'm spiritual, so I think he heard it up there when it went #1, but that's the way things happen. He inspired it, but Ever Since the World Began was really his song.
Yeah.
How one life touches the other. I was inspired by that movie. What's the movie where one life touches the other? Kim Novak and Jimmy Stewart and It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. That's what I'm going for. But it was also about my dad, you know, and he was struggling. He had a mild heart attack and he was struggling for life. And then I go to L.A. and he died, and I flew back, and it was just really sad because he was a musician and just a super inspiration to me.
Yeah, amazing. It's people wonder how songwriters do their thing, and there's so much of regular just life in songs and your ability to create, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Well, right, yeah, you use real life experiences or things that happen to your friends because it's real, you know, and you realize if you went through something or your friend did, it's going to be kind of more universal to everyone. It's the human experience, really.
Exactly. So we have to know what's the future hold for Jim Peterik.
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, Jim Peterik and World Stage Roots and Shoots Volume 1 came out early this year.
Yeah.
And you know, it's Kevin Cronin and me, Dangerous Combination, Colin Peterik, my son, who I've known for, you know, since an embryo. Don Barnes, you know, there's a video of Don Barnes' Last Dream Home, a video of Kevin Cronin, Dangerous Combination. Paul Childers, a great artist, Forever's the Last Place You Look. Kelly Kagi, not a bad little drummer for Night Ranger.
Yeah.
And singer, yeah. Ashton Brooke Gill, who is from New Orleans, As I Am, which I wrote with Bill Sinar. Of course, Mark Farner, a friend. We've been friends for forever, really, and it's called Friends Forever. How ironic. Leslie Hunt, great singer that I've been working with since she was 15. Suddenly, Mark McKay, who you know, I found me when I found you. Fire and Water, Dave Mikulskis, a great singer, and dear friend Lisa McLowry, who I've been working with for many years, just a super, super female singer. And so that's, and then Volume 2 is coming out May, and, you know, Dave Mikulskis and Mike Reno of Loverboy, Toby Hitchcock of Pride of Lions, of course, Jason Sheff, formerly of Chicago, Toby Hitchcock again with me, The Ides of March, We Can Fly. Love Lives, Jim Peterik and Kathy Richardson of Jefferson Starship. Until Neil Donnell, the current singer of Chicago, Take a Hit of Freedom. A 13-year-old gal that Colin, my son, is working with, named Sophia Sheth. And then Road to Forever, which was meant for Dennis DeYoung, but he couldn't do it, so I sang it and dedicated it to Suzanne and Dennis DeYoung. But it's going to be a nice volume, too.
It sounds like it. One question I have, do you ever slow down?
Easy question. No, never. Never.
Easier answer, right?
Yeah, Rust never sleeps, as Neil Young so well put. So, I keep rocking. And, I really appreciate you guys. And, man, you guys are more knowledgeable than I am about me. So I like that.
That means we did our homework and we did good, right?
Yeah.
You did really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, Jim, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. This was an absolute honor for us, just an absolute thrill. We want to thank everybody that's been watching and everybody that's listening to this after the live podcast. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing what the future holds with you. We're going to continue to listen as long as you keep pumping them out. So you keep it up.
Thanks for all the music.
All right, Ace and TBT, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks, Larry, for the setup. And
yes, thanks, Larry.
Let's do it again when the next Roots and Shoots comes out.
That sounds good, Jim. We'll be there.
All right.
See you, Jim.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right. Well, guess what? That was Jim Peterik. And the only thing I have to say is, holy shit. We were serenaded by Jim Peterik. And I know everybody's still, watching with just us now, but we just got serenaded by Jim Peterik, by a Grammy Award winner, a dude that doesn't slow down. Ace and I were talking before we went on the air. Actually, it's been for about the past week. And looking at his discography and the amount of songs that he has either written or co-written, it is absolutely astonishing. I have never seen... Kathy will appreciate this. He has co-wrote with Tom Kiefer as well.
I'd love to know how that happened. Was he just walking by? Because that song has got Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick.
Yeah,
that fits. Survivor, Cheap Trick, kind of. Was Tom Kiefer just in the studio and, hey, kid, bring your long hair in here?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and here's another thing. And we mentioned Sammy Hagar already because I wanted to hear that story. But Tommy Shaw, Cheap Trick, who you just mentioned. Here's one. The Beach Boys.
Right. He mentioned that song.
Yeah. Van Zandt.
Yep.
If anybody remembers from early 2000s, I got to say this slowly so it comes out correctly. The country band Black Hawk. He co-wrote with them. And I'm slowly getting the one that I didn't know about. Of course, there's REO Speedwagon, Beach Boys. Reba McEntire. He co-wrote Indelibly Blue. It was a 1981 track. But here's, I guess, a piece of trivia. He co-wrote with freaking David Hasselhoff.
Isn't that crazy?
All of these people, and not to take anything away from the Hoff, and David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, and that's when he was just getting to be really big in Germany at the time. I guess he needed the Peterik touch, to put him over the top. If you liked, we mentioned some of this stuff, but like 38 Special was mentioned a few times, but we're not just talking a song. We're talking the song that put them really, on the map, which was Hold On Loosely.
Yeah.
that's a Jim Peterik co-write, and then Caught Up in You.
Yeah.
Two of their biggest hits, and there's actually several more.
Yeah, Rockin' Into the Night, Hold On Loosely, Fantasy Girl.
Yep.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
His work with Dennis DeYoung on the last solo record, which was those two solo records by Dennis DeYoung are really good. And I know he wrote the last one, which I would have liked to have gotten to some of that, but we only had so much time.
Right.
But it sounds like we can talk to him again here in a couple months or so.
Couple months, yeah, and hopefully it won't take as long. So if you're still listening, we've been trying to get Jim on for 4 months, 5 months.
Oh, I've tried for 2 years.
A year or two. We've been trying, but I think this is just one of those things. Persistence, and to have him say, let's do it again here. When Volume 2 comes out, which if you think about it, we just got the spoiler because Volume 2 not out yet. We don't even know who's on it. But if you go back and listen to this podcast, you're going to know who's on it because he already said. So,
and the first, I think it's the second world stage record, but he's got songs with Kelly Kagi on there that are excellent. He mentioned Kelly Kagi.
Yeah.
I mean, just, take the time. If you got to, just get a sample somewhere, just listen to it. It's some good stuff.
Yeah. If you're not very familiar with Jim's work, go listen to Survivor. Get some of that reminiscence of the 80s feel, get Ides of March, listen to that. It's not so much all of the music, but listen to the lyrics and how those pieces put together. His songs were on Rocky 3, The Karate Kid. My gosh, what was one? Lockup. The 89 Sylvester Stallone.
You had wanted to talk about that, I know, and we didn't get to it.
Yeah, that was Vehicle from the Ides of March that ended up on that show. But if you listen to Vehicle, if you're not familiar with it, listen to it, and you're probably going to be like, oh, I remember that song. It's so catchy.
Yeah, it really is. It has a specific sound because of the time period it's in.
Right.
But that doesn't diminish the fact that it's really cool to listen to.
Yeah, and the fact that, being from the Chicago area, it sounds like Chicago. Or,
it does.
Or because you get your big horns and, I don't want to say the orchestra, but you got the horns, and that was big, horns and all that was big with Chicago. Such a good song to be on. So that's 2 Sylvester Stallone movies that he's had a song on. 3, you're right. I'm sorry. That's right. It's 3.
Burning Heart.
Burning Heart. I forgot about that. Now, we didn't ask him because we know the story, and I know he has told it probably 3 billion times. But he got a message on his answering machine from Sylvester Stallone that said, hey, Jim, give me a call. And when he heard it, he didn't believe that it was. And I believe it is now, his now wife was like, you better call that back because that sounds like him. Something like that. So anyway, ends up calling him back and talks to him, and the rest is history. They wrote, Eye of the Tiger, and
the rest of that is Stallone knew some of the people that worked with Survivor kind of existentially. They were acquaintances,
right?
And Stallone had heard "Poor Man's Son," which is a great track.
Exactly.
I think it's on Premonition. I think that's a great track. And he told Jim he wanted something in that vein. And they weren't sure what that meant, so they requested a copy of the movie, a cut. We need a cut of the movie. Now, there's no music yet, right? Nothing's been added. But they had to fight with Stallone to get that because they wanted to keep everything under wraps and let nothing out, But once they finally got that cut, the band sits and watches the movie. They see that big finishing sequence in Rocky 3, and here we are.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah.
I'm still all shocked, all shook. I'm still in awe. There you go. I'm just going to say I'm in awe at the fact that we had Jim on the show. This is definitely a highlight for us. So yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to retire now because this will pay the bills.
Well, I sat there and thought, okay, I've had, and talk about people I like. I've had Emmett on. I've had Jim Peterik now. I've had Billy Sheehan and Crop. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I want to go?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go and get, as a guest?
Paul Stanley's next.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get Paul. That would be great. Oh my Lord.
I know.
You can talk to him for days.
So here in the next few, probably next episode, Ace and I will be breaking down something that we've been lucky enough to get our hands on. Not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but we've managed to get something in advance of its release to take a listen to. So we're going to get a chance to listen to this and tell you probably next episode what to expect. I don't know the exact release date. I'm going to have to look at it, but it won't matter. But I don't want to spoil it because this is something that's pretty big. That we were graciously asked if we wanted an advanced copy. So we've got it. We can listen to it, and we're going to let you guys know. Other than that, I want you to enjoy the rest of your time in the Great White North of Canada. Please tell everyone I said, and a.
There's a few others, colloquialism.
Did you drive?
Oh, yes.
Oh, then I expect a 6-pack of Molson.
The real stuff, not the domesticated version that we get.
No. Is there snow up there?
Yes, it's Canada.
Well, I didn't know. There was just... When did you leave town?
Oh, God, I don't know. Monday morning.
Like yesterday?
Yeah, this is insane. So
you were here for the Snowmageddon we had for like 24 hours.
Yes. Okay. Actually, I was out working when it hit.
Lucky you.
I was in my little car, sliding around everywhere for a little bit, and then I hung it up. About 3 o'clock, I'm like, screw this, But we left. Originally, we were thinking about leaving around 7 o'clock Sunday night, 7 p.m. Then I thought, that's insanity. Why would we do that? And we ended up leaving about 3:45 a.m. Monday morning and got here about 5:30 p.m. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
So do the math for me. How long was that drive?
It took us about 13 hours.
It'd be a lot slower or faster if you'd just went straight north.
No, it doesn't quite work like that.
You still hit Canada.
Yeah, we don't want just Canada. We want a specific spot in Canada.
Okay, whatever. I gotcha. Well, enjoy your time. We, as far as I know, we're back next week. I don't think we have anybody on the schedule except for us. So, yeah, thanks for joining us in the chat. Of course, Kathy and everybody else. I think Natalie was in there tonight. I didn't even get a chance to look at the freaking chat. Yep, Natalie was there. Sandra, Mama TBT was there. Natalie, I've already said her name. I just had to say it again since I didn't get to. The Digital Viper was in the house talking about looking for Survivor, but the search is over. Oh, corniness. I love it. Hey, I got a good joke for you. Want to hear it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, a heavy metal guitarist walks into a bar.